Hi guys, welcome to my vlog for multimedia journalism. My beat for this semester was social media utilization, so for today's vlog I'm going to be doing it on influencers, and influencers are often caught on social media, which is why it ties in to my beat. But before I get started, I just wanted to do a quick side note. I hope everybody's doing fine, I hope everybody's healthy, social distancing. I know it's like really hard to stay focused on everything. For me, it's been pretty hard to stay positive, honestly, but I wasn't gonna bring that up because like everywhere you go online you see that and it gets kind of tiring and depressing, but it's kind of inevitable. But I really hope everybody's doing fine, including Professor Murley. So yeah, so we're just gonna dive right in. So what exactly is an influencer? According to the Influencer Marketing Hub, an influencer is someone who has the power to affect the purchasing decisions of others because of his or her authority, knowledge, position, or relationship with his or her audience. So influencers are primarily known to operate on social media. This is primarily because they could reach more people that way, so they have a bigger scope of their audience. With one post they could reach like millions of people or however many followers that they have, or they could also be found on the Explore page on like places like Instagram and stuff like that. So they're primarily found on platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and more recently TikTok. There are a lot of pros and cons to influencer culture. Here are a few. So for the pros, from the company standpoint, it's a pretty good deal just because they get like influencers that have a following that they want to reach already. So they reach out to these influencers, and therefore this influencer kind of like advertises a specific product. So for example, there are influencers that are more like for cosmetic companies, like makeup companies, or there are influencers that are focused more on like home decor. There are influencers that focus more on, like exercise, things like that. Although often sponsored, some influencers actually admit that they only promote products that they'd actually use or that have actually worked for them. So although an influencer may be sponsored, that doesn't mean that they actually never use a product before or anything like that. I've seen a video with the influencers, I think there was like 5 of them. They admitted that at the beginning maybe they did do that just to kind of get their startup and like get more money and more income in, but as soon as they got their finances in line, they decided that it would be kind of like against everything they believed in. Like they really care about their followers, so they just want to promote the best products to them. Influencers can affect their followers in a positive way. They could actually promote positive mental health, positive self-esteem. They could help them understand their sexuality, things like that. Some cons from being an influencer are influencers can also affect their followers in a negative way. Some influencers can ask their followers for money. An example of that would be an Instagram couple named Caitlin, Onk, and Elena, who begged their followers to donate to their vacation fund. This is obviously not okay because a lot of their followers weren't as financially stable as they were, so they were kind of just scamming them. But they received a lot of backlash for that, but of course they're still active online. A lot of influencers expect their services to be free. A good example of that would be there was a wedding photography company by the name of Betrothed & Co. Who received an email from a representative from an influencer, and this representative said that they wanted Betrothed & Co. to give them a wedding package for free, and in exchange that influencer that she was representing would give them free advertising online. And of course the company declined, and they posted the screenshots of the messages and said, like, don't get scammed by these influencers, like your product is worth like what you're working for. There's also a lot of drama that comes from being an influencer. I know like the cosmetics influencers go through a lot of drama, and when they do, they kind of tend to fight on social media. An example of that would be like, Jeffree Star and Manny MUA. There are influencers who now make ridiculous, offensive, and disgusting content just to gain followers, which obviously gives influencers a bad name and a reputation. A good example of that would be like Woah Vicky. Woah Vicky's a young Caucasian woman who likes to claim that she's African American online, and she only does that to get a reaction from other people, and it's obviously working. She has a really big following, and although the comments are often hateful, it's still a following. Like, any publicity is good publicity to them. Back to bashing, influencers do receive a lot of bashing. It's kind of inevitable. They have thousands of followers, sometimes millions, on various social media platforms. So they kind of have to adapt to this harsh environment really, really quickly. Oftentimes, like if an influencer is caught up doing something that a lot of people disapprove of or find offensive, they're often canceled. And canceling someone means like just withdrawing support for public figures or companies that they represent. So like if somebody is being sponsored by CoverGirl and then they do something really offensive, then a lot of people are going to stop supporting CoverGirl as well. So from the company standpoint, it is pretty risky to get an influencer to market their products. They have to be sure that the influencer is actually level-headed and isn't going to do anything spontaneous. So I'm going to wrap it up here. So it looks like influencers are here to stay. It's a relatively new occupation that many companies seem to value. Last year, I think they spent like billions of dollars just on influencers. So I feel like being an influencer hasn't really reached its full potential yet. Social media seems like it's going to stay. It's going to keep evolving, and so is the occupation of being an influencer. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Again, I hope everybody's doing fine. Please stay safe. Please social distance. But yeah, see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of the class.